were talking about here, nothing more personal than Cody versus Cutie. What do you think about this one? Because if you recognize the bridge that Darby and Sting are walking down, you had to be like me, having flashbacks, seeing when we saw Cutie driving Cody up around down around Jacksonville together.
Yeah,
we saw, so we know that those guys are boys. They're friends in real life, man.
Sure.
This is definitely personal, man. This got personal fast.
Did it ever? And honestly, like, just watching the match develop, Cody was very respectful and didn't want to hurt him the whole match. And it was kind of like this back and forth, kind of slow, and, not to be overly critical, but it was just kind of like, okay, it wasn't your typical Cody match. It wasn't your high spots. And boy, did it turned quick, when he struck Arn Anderson and walked out. And then you saw the Nightmare Family just kind of dismember everyone and just like dissolve the Nightmare Academy, Nightmare Family. It was just before, I'm like, who's on who? When everyone got in there, I'm like, who's helping who? Aaron Solo had the chair and was kind of cleaning house, and who we are very high on, Nick Camarado.
I know you are.
Yep. This development, I was like, wow, man. Okay, you put these guys together. I'm like, of course, Nick Camarado, you want to be a freaking star. Aaron Solo, we've seen some good stuff out of him. And Anthony Gogo, which I have not seen. He's been a commentator in Dark and stuff. But the commentator team did a great job, just giving his background, his bronze medal background in boxing. I like his look. I like that. And so then we saw Camarado just pick up the steps, looking absolutely beast. And then the pile driver from Dustin Rhodes. I'm like, looking at that, I'm like, I'll take a power bomb any day over any pile driver. Pile still make me cringe.
I know.
Being dropped on your head. And even like the Canadian Destroyers kind of make me cringe, even though I love that move. And the Luchas do some crazy pile drivers too. So those always make me cringe just because of that. But what I really liked was the subtle moment where QT Marshall took the bloody hand and rubbed it on Aaron Solo's chest right across the Nightmare Family's logo. I was like, that was really cool. I'm sure that wasn't planned. Solo kind of looked like, oh, get this blood off me in a way, Dustin Rhodes. This is, they have a good core of young, fresh, green talent in Nightmare Family. And this is just to be some great storylines going forward. You done cute former partners that are going to be going head to head a lot. And then you have, Nick Camarado, whoever the heck he's going to go against, is going to be Wrecking Crew. I'm all for this. This was just a wow factor moment, and then we, of course, Jade coming to the aid at the end. So this is just, then they
Red
leave.
Velvet,
of course,
yeah.
Excuse me, Red Velvet. We're talking much about Jade. My mind is blown because of what we saw. Please take over. I mean, we saw him leave out of the heel tunnel after, if you caught that too. So this was a great segment. I'm forgetting about the match, thing that happened in the match, because this was just such a powerful, jam-packed segment that got me even more excited, because I wasn't that excited for this exhibition match. Now I'm even more excited for going forward to future feuds with these, this new faction.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that, like, for me, the potential that you see, and this is where people got to remember, like, I was disappointed too when we saw the Cody versus Penta feud get over with so quickly. I understand I was watching on Twitter. There were some people who had some backlash on that, but when you look at this match, bro, and you see what they're doing here, it's like, guys, they're investing in the future with this feud. Because Penta is a long-established veteran. He doesn't need the rub from Cody, bro. He's every bit as good as Cody, and a lot of people, really around the world.
True.
But this feud now, yes, you inject it with that very, very personal now feud between Cutie and Cody, which I think is going to be interesting. But more than that, it's going to be about showcasing these young kids. And when we were all watching this one, SPD, we were texting back and forth, brother. It's just like the way that those guys were throwing around Shoddy Lee and Dustin and just the how dominant they looked. It was like, it took me back to like Nexus vibes. I was like, wow, this is impressive stuff, because it's young guys who are like ripping like chomping at the bit for an opportunity, and you can only imagine what QT was planting in their ears. And that's what I find fascinating too, right? Is the dissension, the students, they're all students of the Nightmare family, but
Yeah.
how some sided with QT and how some are going to side with Cody. I really love that, like that dichotomy of what happens, and it's a natural reflection of what really happens in any school, or there's cliques that just happens, right? And I think when you combine that with sort of that chip on his shoulder,
Right.
even now, like you have people who are buzzing on Twitter, like, wow, QT Marshall is trending. Yeah, he's trending. He's making waves, and
Yeah.
for him to do, I mean, for him to lead like this, and he looked good, bro. I mean, like he looked.
I agree.
I'll say even in the match, like there was that cat and mouse type of game that was going on, which I enjoyed. I knew that like that psychology was going out, but the way that he slow played this frustration, and I don't know, with the way that aftermath happened after this match, I don't know how you couldn't walk away saying like this is going to lead to some very interesting stuff. I mean, like him or not, right?
Yeah.
Believe, but you can say, QT is not on the same level as a Cody. Well, that's just adding to the chip on his shoulder. And when he's got guys like Camarado behind him, and these kids see what QT's put in and the work that he's done with their careers, they're going to stand behind him. I don't know, dude. I think that this one's going to be a very fun thing to unpack and unravel as television goes on. And we've been chomping at the bit for Camarado to get more opportunity to look like this, to look this strong. Absolutely. He definitely did tonight, didn't he? I mean, what a way to showcase that young talent. They're investing. AEW is investing in young talent, and what this does is it gives stuff that can happen on all their different shows. This is on Dynamite. Right. You get introduced to this feud on Dynamite through Cody and QT. But then you're going to see these guys battling a Shotty Lee versus a Nick Camarado. You're going to see those types of matchups happen on an elevation, and it's going to make those matchups feel more important. It's going to give them story. It's going to give them like actual life rather than just feeling like two random pairings. I really love that.
I agree, man. This is an exciting of fresh teams that are going to form and all that. And can't wait for it.